Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I'm also a doctoral student of psychology. Today, we're going to go over a topic that some of you guys were asking about. Basically, what do you do with breadcrumbing and how do you know that you're being breadcrumbed? Now, everyone has a different definition of breadcrumbing. So, today, we're going to kind of focus on the difference between how avoidants show love. It's a very slow love, right? They develop their love very slowly versus breadcrumbing. Today we're going to talk about that. And then in another video at some point, I'm going to discuss more about breadcrumbing once I get more information based on the comments, what you guys perceive as breadcrumbing, because everyone's different. So first I'm going to talk about what I perceive as breadcrumbing. I perceive breadcrumbing as when an individual or whatever is going on, the affection is thrown at you, meant to kind of keep you around, but not actually build something with you. So I don't think breadcrumbing means giving you small segments and eventually you're going to get a big loaf of bread. That's not what I think breadcrumbing is. I think breadcrumbing is when they give you pieces of crumbs or whatever only when you ask or when they need something out of you, but you're never going to get the whole loaf of bread. I don't even know. Something like that, right? And the difference is avoidance, they give you little pieces of bread or whatever it is, but they are going to give you a loaf of bread one day. But bread, what I think breadcrumbing is like someone's giving you breadcrumbs, but there is no loaf of bread at the end. It's just it's a tunnel of just crumbs, right? There's never the light at the end or whatever it is, right? And so today I'm going to discuss the differences between that based on my very strange little definition I gave you just there. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And then whatever your definition of breadcrumbing is, if you could put that in the comments so that I know what more you guys wanted about breadcrumbing, because it's a really common question, but I just feel like everyone has like a different perception of breadcrumbing. And I don't want to just give you answers without getting a little bit more clarity. So go ahead and share that in the comments if you could, please and thank you. So the first aspect that I feel contributes to whether this person is just an avoidant who's giving you slow love, but eventually it's going to reach, full-blown love, or it's just breadcrumbing and you're being manipulated or tricked. So consistency versus no clear consistency over time. Examples of being consistent are you've been together for months or years without a breakup. That's a great example. Now, some people have a lot of breakups. That doesn't mean it's not consistent, but do you guys always get back together? That's another sign of consistency, to be honest. Do you guys look back and do you notice that your partner is still always there for you? Does your partner have a pattern of showing up? So maybe they are not that great at being affectionate, but they're always there when you're sick. That's still a pattern. That's still consistency. Or is it like sometimes they're there for you and then some days they're not? There is no clear pattern. That I feel is a really good way to tell. Is this an avoidant building slow love, or is it just someone breadcrumbing you? The next one is the interest builds over time. So that's like the avoidant building slow, deep love versus little to no interest or random burst of grand gestures to keep you interested. So avoidance in the beginning of a relationship, there is a lot of interest, but it's not real interest. I'm not saying they didn't care about you. What I'm saying is that avoidants live with this feeling of shame for who they are. It's not love bombing, okay? Because love bombing is not even a clinical term, but it doesn't matter, okay? It's not what people use the word love bombing, right? When avoidants are doing that, it's because in the beginning, they didn't have any feelings for you, I'm just being honest, or not much investment, and they were wearing a mask because they always wear a mask. They wear a mask in front of their friends and family. They wear a mask in front of their colleagues, almost everybody. And so that's why you saw them like that, because that's the mask they always put on. But when they like you, there is a part of them, and this is true, that they subconsciously, it's not conscious, they want you to like the real version of them. And so they subconsciously take that mask off. And so now you see the real version, the version that doesn't have a lot of emotions, actually. The real version that doesn't show a lot of attention. And people, you can do this even when you get comfortable with things. A good example could be my beginning videos on this YouTube channel. I wasn't as comfortable as being myself because I didn't admit to you guys, because I just wasn't ready yet, that I used to be avoidant. I just portrayed myself as who I am, of course. But I said I'm a therapist and a doctoral student, but I didn't mention I used to be avoidant. But then a lot of you guys in the comments were like, oh, there's no way you know so much about avoidance. You used to be avoidant. Or you act like, my partner. Did you used to be avoidant? And then I admitted, yeah, I was. And now it's something I'm more comfortable with. So now I show like my detached self or like my lack of communication skills in some areas now more comfortably because I don't care as much anymore. I don't have on the mask, right? And it's the same thing when you're with a relationship with an avoidant. Obviously, it's going to be much more intense than just like little YouTube videos, but they are more themselves, which is all of the colors, all the bad, all the good, whatever it is. But their interest builds over time. Once they take the mask off, you start seeing slowly they build more interest towards you because they love you. It takes a long time. However, a person who is breadcrumbing you, there's little to no interest or those big bursts of interest that it disappears, then it shows up again, and now they're flirty, and now they disappear for like a month, or they make a lot of excuses, whatever it may be. And the confusing part is fearful avoidants are off and on, but still, with fearful avoidance, that off and on is still building into something. If there is no progress at all and it's just always random, that's probably someone who's breadcrumbing. If someone has interest built over time, even if it's hot and cold like fearful avoidants tend to be, likely it's avoidance just building a slow love, okay? The next one is deeper conversations over time in comparison to not very complex topics, very shallow topics. This is a very obvious difference, and a lot of times people don't realize how prominent this is. If you are a therapist or somebody who works or sees a lot of marriages, I can immediately see how they talk to each other. Whereas let's say I've had maybe like one or two, very rarely. It's getting more common now, which is strange, where couples start seeing a couples therapist when they're dating. I had some couples where like they were dating for 3 months. You will probably not believe me, but I swear. And you can see how like they don't know each other at all. And they're trying to act like they know each other, but they just don't. And then you can compare it to someone who's been married for like 25 years and are talking about like the empty nest, whatever. That's why they're in therapy. The topics and how they talk and the emotions and the everything, their body language is way more complex than the 3-month relationship. And so that's normal, right? But if you're in a relationship with somebody and you guys have been together for like 3 years and it still looks like a 3-month relationship, even with avoidance, that's not normal. That is likely something else is going on. Avoidance add depth in the relationship. They may be more triggered. They may be more annoying. They may be more like guarded, but they're still themselves. There's depth. The real them is showing, okay? So deeper conversations and complexities with how you guys communicate, okay? The next one is when you ask for clarification, people with breadcrumbing or who do breadcrumbing, whatever it's called, they tend to not be honest, but avoidance, they are honest. Even if you don't like it, they're going to tell you, hey, I'm not really looking for a relationship, or I don't want to get married. It's the way I am. Stop pushing me or I'll shut down. Or if you say that, then I don't know what you want. Then maybe you can leave because I'm not the person for you. That would be how an avoidant would say it. A breadcrumber might change the subject. They might try and smooth it over. They might say, I'm just not ready now. I'm not in the right space. I'm not in the right mindset, but soon. And they keep stringing you along. Whereas an avoidant might be very blunt with you. Fearful avoidance, it might not sound as blunt because a lot of them are also very anxious as well because they're afraid to lose you. It's not that they're lying, but they might say it a little bit more softer, like, well, I just don't know. I've always been this way. I don't want you to take it personally. It doesn't mean I don't like you. I'm not ready, right? They might say it more like that, okay? And the fifth one, which I have to put it in here because so many of you guys struggle with this. If a person is in a relationship, they might not be an avoidant. You just might feel like they are because they are literally giving their time to a full-blown relationship. That would be an example of breadcrumbing, possibly, okay? I'm sure there are a lot of dynamics, and I will not do a black and white thing where every person who's in a relationship, they're not avoidant or that whatever it is. Like they do probably care about you to some extent. But some people, they genuinely use another person to feel more stable in their current relationship. So they are using and breadcrumbing another person. And I don't want that to be you. Whereas if it's an avoidant and they're not in a relationship and they're just building their love slowly, that's probably a better option for you if you want to build a long-term relationship. So let's summarize and then we'll wrap it up, okay? They are consistent versus no clear consistency. Avoidant love versus breadcrumbing, okay? Interest builds over time versus little to no interest. Deeper conversations with more complexity versus shallow topics even for years. Asking for clarity, avoidance will be honest with you, even if it stings or hurts, whereas people who are breadcrumbing, they tend to lie a little bit more or avoid. And then the last one is if a person is avoidant, it's not that they're in a relationship or they're investing their time in something else, they're just struggling with their own barriers, whereas people who are breadcrumbing, it might be, not all of them, this is just a random spot here, but maybe if they're in a relationship, there's breadcrumbing you to make them feel better about whatever's missing in their relationship and they don't have much for you. They might, but it might not be something that you're looking for. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I will see you in the next one.